revenue that we are flashing is including the excise. We have to minus the excise before we flash it. So I will request everyone to minus the excise. Naveen, very good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in with us right now. And Naveen, what is the first look in terms of the numbers that you have for ITC? At least revenue patch surely seems in line with what one was expecting, right? Even after you minus slight, okay, after excise, it's a bit of a subduedness when you look at the revenue versus what we were expecting. But what is your expectation coming in there?
Yeah, so at least we see that there is a slight miss on the EBITDA numbers, but the margin still looks pretty good. So we'll have to again look at a little more closely in terms of what the cigarette numbers are, and I think that segment has done better than expectations, right? So I see the cigarette revenue growth at around 8%, which we were expecting it to be in the range of around 4 to 5%. So I would say that number looks slightly better to me. Overall consolidated numbers are slightly lower than expectations, but the key number is the cigarette business, because other numbers can move based on other income and some of the other segments which can be slightly seasonal in nature, like the agribusiness and other things.
Like you were talking about the agri-business also, that continued to be under pressure, Naveen. Any thoughts on that, whether you look at the agri and the paper business, this time also that pressure is there. Is that something that maybe would continue for them?
Yeah, so two things. The agri-business is again very, very seasonal in nature, so can depend on the global prices as well as the inventory gains or losses. But the thing is that is a business which does not get a huge multiple. Also, the profitability in that business is much, much lower than the company's average profitability. So, in terms of value driver for the company, agribusiness is not a value driver. Paper business, of course, considering the FMCG sector has not been that great, like it's starting to pick up slowly. But overall, I would say that the paper business is a reflection of the overall FMCG business in India. And I would say that FMCG business in India has not been great over the last 1 year. So from that perspective, the paper business has also been slightly slower. But I think the more important number that we will always be focused on, because that is almost 70% of the profits, is the cigarettes business and then the other FMCG business, right? These are the two businesses which are the key value drivers for the company, and those are the numbers that need to be closely examined.
Last question, what we're seeing in terms of cigarette revenue growth is at around 5%. What would the volumes approximately come in at? We had a 3-4% realization. So flattish volume, or what is the volume that you are anticipating for the cigarette volume right now?
See, our expectation was close to 0%, which is flattish volume. But I think probably they have delivered a couple of percentage points volume growth. So looking at the headline numbers, we have to still to figure out the exact numbers, but prima facie, it seems to be the case where they could have delivered a couple of percentage points of volume growth, which is encouraging, is what I would say.
Overall, you would just give ITC's numbers a thumbs up right now?
I would say that they're slightly better on the operating front. Overall, it could be a slight miss, but I think the operating numbers look to be slightly better.
Okay, Naveen, thank you so much, for joining in with us right now on ET Now and, giving us insight in terms of what